Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Stay for this video. You'll see a great reaction to a very dangerous situation. If you want to learn more about survival and preparedness, you have my books, Surviving the Economic Collapse, as well as Street Survival Skills. Now, in this video, you will see something that is described in Street Survival Skills, page 140, if I got that right. And it is the different disarm techniques, or actually the proper disarm technique for dealing with such a situation. You will see that the little graphics, little drawings, little techniques, and things to keep in mind all apply here. Now, nothing is really written in stone. There's always going to be variations. There's always going to be improvising. But the fundamentals, guys, they work all the time. There's a reason why they're called fundamentals. These are the things that when you distill the essence of how you react, you have some very valuable lessons here that you should keep in mind, and I'll get to that in a second. Let's start watching the video here. We have this guy. He's a former U.S. Marine. He admits to not being in exactly great shape, a little bit overweight, a little bit older now, and he's dealing with someone that is really pointing at him, finger on the trigger, ready to do what needs to be done according to his own mind. But is he really? Well, let's see how this goes.
Was just getting ready to turn around to go leave and kind of heard the door swinging open in a little bit aggressive fashion. Kind of had my spidey senses tingling a little bit, and that all unfolded from there.
James Kilser knew instantly an armed robbery was about to go down at this Yuma gas station.
My first thought was that it was an awfully small barrel.
Many would have froze, but not this trained Marine.
The situation had to be dealt with, and there was really only one way.
Do Marines train on disarming techniques? I guess they do, but let me know in the comments if you've been in the Marines. Do you train how to do disarming techniques? I would think it focuses more on long guns rather than small guns, but it would be nice to know if there's any specific technique that they teach. I know that in any well, not any, but in more medium to advanced shooting and fighting classes, you do see this sort of thing. That's the technique I share with you guys in my book, but it's a technique I've seen being taught many times all over in different countries by different schools and instructors. The basics usually apply, and you see a lot of that here.
We deal with it. Picked my target and said, that's the one I'm going for, and he took an extra step towards me, towards the counter, and he was in my reach.
In a flash, the 32-year-old pounced.
I hit him in the gun before the keys hit the ground. That's how fast I moved. And I'm a little chubby guy, so I don't move that
Well, little chubby guy did just fine. What is it that he did right?
Fast anymore. I put on a couple pounds since the Marine Corps.
James wielding his shopping bag like a weapon.
It smashed him in the face and may or may not have broke his nose because he was bleeding all over the place.
The father, unsure if he was still under attack, grabbed the suspect's gun.
Bring it up his body and grab him around his neck and put the gun to his head, spin him around and get him in between me and, because I didn't know if his buddies were going to come.
They didn't. And
that's
at that
a very
point,
big bet. So let's go. Yeah, they didn't. Let me see if there's anything else here.
The suspect came into focus.
I discerned that he was 14 because I asked him, how old are you? And he goes, well, he's just 14. And yeah, you done screwed up.
Do you have a message for him now that you know he's 14 years old?
That boy needs some Jesus.
Okay, yeah, definitely needs some values. Probably needs a father and a proper mother as well. But let's see what he did right. And he did a bunch of things right here.
James wielding his shopping bag like a weapon.
Let's go back.
That's
Marine.
The situation had to be dealt with.
So we have a guy. He is caught, he's just in the middle of his business, but you are still in a store which potentially could be targeted. You have two people walking in. You have a gun that is held gangster style, so you're dealing with a pro. But you have a guy that is in his 30s, former Marine, so he has a little bit of training and the right mindset, which is critical, and you'll see why that is in a second. But, this could go very bad very fast. Ideally, you would not want to risk your life over whatever is being stolen here. That would be, honestly, the best advice I could give you. It is not worth it, man, because this could have gone very bad very fast. What is it that would have happened here? They would have emptied the cash register and left. That's usually what they have in mind. Honestly, I think you're risking way too much. Now, same situation and you're being forced into your house. Well, that's where you make your decision. and the decision is gonna be maybe I don't want to risk my family, my wife, my kids. I won't have this lunatic inside my house. This is not your house. This is a store that's being robbed. So you have to be very careful as of there's a split-second decision that you may end up regretting for the rest of your life, or may work for you. Depends. But he's already seeing that, and you notice that this guy, he says he's a short, chubby guy. Well, you're not as short as this kid. He's 14. He's not big. He's actually smaller, and he probably weighs half as much as you do. Those are actual advantages when you're wrestling and fighting with someone, especially if you have a bit of physical strength to go along with it, right? So he makes a decision, and he does this. He goes for the gun. But oh, what happens? He fails. You fail in life all the time. You fail at everything all the time. It's just a matter of getting good at things and trying yet again. But you cannot count on, yeah, I'll just do this as I was taught by my ninja instructor. No, this is real life. The 14-year-old kid has better reflexes than the 30-year-old Marine. Well, that's completely natural and to be expected. He's smaller, he's faster, he's younger. Yeah, he's going to have better reflexes than you. Even if he says that I hit him before I dropped the bag. Yeah, but at that moment, if you have the proper retention technique, you're getting shot full of holes. You got very, very lucky here, right? So first attempt fails. But what is the key to success? Why is it that he lives in this very bad situation? The guy has a gun, he's pointing at you, you go for the gun and you miss. Why is it he wins? Because of the other things that I explain in all of my books. You commit to it. You commit to the decision that you made. You made a decision to fight. You keep on fighting until it stops. You don't stop fighting. You don't stop closing in the distance. There's a video I showed you guys a while back. This was a man, it was a couple, a man and a woman, and the guy starts the attack, and when he sees that he fails, he immediately regrets and he moves away. Creating distance is the worst mistake you could possibly make. Knife, gun, stick, whatever it is. Yeah, a knife. Oh, yeah, that would be painful to deal with. You know, someone like that's dealing with that and he's just stabbing away, that is going to be very difficult. But with a gun, you have a little bit of a chance of you closing. You throw yourself on top of him and you keep the muzzle of that thing pointed away. Another thing that he did mention, the barrel of the gun. You see my 6-inch Python over there? That is a lot bigger. That is a lot easier to get hold of. That's something that I actually explain here. There's a difference between dealing with a revolver and dealing with a pistol. The way you're supposed to grab it, your fingers wrapping around the slide or wrapping around the cylinder and the exposed hammer, if it has one, those things make a big difference on that gun being immediately incapacitated or after the first shot. But
really only one way to deal with it. Pick my target and said, that's the one I'm going for, and he took an extra.
He tries to grab the gun, fails, but he comes in swinging with a bag. You improvise. You're using improvised weapons, right? He swings with a bag, and if there was no bag, you swing with your fist. You swing with whatever you have, and you throw yourself on top of the smaller person. That's actually gonna be a solid chance. If this was some gigantic dude, you still do the same thing. And you hope that your training, your determination, your will to fight is greater than his. The other thing you notice is something that I've told you so many times here. Once this goes down, 90% of the chance, the accomplices, the buddies, they all run away. Yeah, this is very Reacher kind of thing, but it's usually true. As soon as first shots get fired, as soon as the fight starts, the accomplices, 90% chance they leave. Are you going to be betting your life on that? I don't know. That's going to be up to you. But he grabs, fails. The kid's hand comes up to intercept, but he comes in swinging with a bag. Hits him with a bag, with a hand. They both go down, and now you're wrestling. Now it's no longer about shooting. Now it's wrestling, and the bigger guy has the advantage. If you have some knowledge on how to actually wrestle, if you have some jiu-jitsu knowledge, if you have some ground and pound practicing, if you actually know how to hammer or punch the guys, careful with hammering. It's usually going to be something you may want to go more with it. Don't go all UFC. There's a very nice chance of you breaking a bone in your hand if you don't have the proper hammering technique. Usually going with the knuckles is a safer bet instead of that tiny little bone here. Yeah, there's a difference. There's a difference between fighting, and it's not as if the UFC gloves have all of that much of a, but you really have to grip that, pretty strong, and some protection by the glove. I guess it's there, because if not, we would see a lot more broken hands. But that happens fairly often if you're empty-handed. So maybe go with that. But you commit to it. You keep on going.
He was in my reach.
Right? In a flash, the 32-year-old pounced.
And the accomplice?
I hit him in the gun before the keys hit the ground.
Falls on top. Good for him. Super happy he's okay. It could have gone pretty bad. What about a bigger guy? What about a more trained, determined kill? Well, if you have any tools on you, you're on top of this guy. You're both fighting. Maybe you have one hand on the gun. Maybe your other hand is free. That's why you have a folder on one side, and at least I have a multi-tool on the other. 2 blades, 1 blade on each pocket. I don't know which one is going to be more convenient, but if I need it, I'm happy that I will have it there. If I have a Leatherman on my right hand and I'm holding on for dear life to the barrel and keeping it twisted away from me, maybe I can do something with my other hand. Open him up like a fish? Probably, yeah, that's the kind of thing that does maybe cross your mind in a situation like this. But you need a tool to actually use it, and you need the determination and the mindset, and hopefully this is the kind of thing that my channel and of course my books, which I always recommend, helps you achieve and get in the right mindset. See you on our next video, guys. Take care.